Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Their Excellencies, the Right Honourable Dame Cindy Kero, Governor-General of New Zealand, and Dr. Richard Davis.
E hono he kororia he mau ngāro mo ki runga ki te mato te whenua. E whakaaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. Aro haena ngā teina me ngā tuakana e noho nei i rungi te whakaaro kotahi pai mari re ki he maururi oi.
Please be seated. E ngā mana e ngā reo e ngā iwi o ngā hau e whā tēnā aku mihi mahana ki a koutou. Nau mai haere mai ki te whare kāwana i tēnei. Kia ora mai tātou katoa. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Government House for this afternoon's investiture ceremony. I specifically want to acknowledge the Honourable Poto Williams, Minister of the Crown, Joe Harawira, Government House Kaumātua, Puhiwahine Tibble, Government House Kuia. Dr. Davis and I are delighted that you can join us here and that we can host you in person on this very special day for recipients with your friends and family. As Governor-General, I have the immense privilege on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen of New Zealand to confer the honours to which each of you are entitled. It's a very special thing to bring together such a diverse and extraordinary group of New Zealanders. Some of you have achieved national and international renown, while others are pillars within your communities, dedicating your lives to serving others. What you share is the positive impact that you've had on Aotearoa New Zealand. You've brought pride and a greater sense of well-being to our country, and for those things, I thank you. Today's recipients also share that defining New Zealand quality, the belief that anything is possible. It's that strength of belief, that drive that brought you here today. Ladies and gentlemen, after each recipient is honoured, I invite you to join me in thanking and congratulating them for their service to our country. Ms. Catriona McLeod will now summon the recipients and read their citations.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr. Jack Thatcher of Tauranga for services to Māori and education. Jack Thatcher is chairman of Te Puna I Rangiriri Trust, TPIRT, which he co-founded. Through TPIRT, he and other staff have taught hundreds of children and young people about waka and other traditional Māori knowledge through programs in schools, polytechnics and wānanga. He has run events and classes based on traditional Māori activities. He established a traditional navigation school where students can gain NZQA qualifications. He leads educational tours of Mount Maunganui and the Mo'au Historic Reserve during Matariki. Mr. Thatcher navigated the Matatua Waka for the 150-year commemorations of the signing of Te Tiriti o Waitangi, captained the Waka Odyssey voyage for the 2018 New Zealand Festival of the Arts, was Flotilla Kaitiaki for Tuia 250 commemorations, and was chief navigator for Sir Heck Busby's Waka Tapu project. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Order, Ms. Sarah Stewart Black of Wellington for services to emergency management. Sarah Stewart Black is Secretary-General of the New Zealand Red Cross. Previously, she was Director of Civil Defence and Emergency Management, overseeing the response to the Kaikoura earthquake, Port Hills fires, Christchurch terror attacks, Whakaari White Island eruption, floods in Southland, COVID-19 pandemic, and more than 50 other emergencies. She oversaw implementation of the Emergency Mobile Alert System and the New Zealand Deep Ocean Assessment and Reporting of Tsunami, or DART, Voice Network, and provided leadership during the transition process from the Ministry of Civil Defence and Emergency Management to the National Emergency Management Agency. She was a member of the United Nations Disaster Assessment and Coordination Team, and has represented New Zealand at international forums, meetings, and exercises. Ms. Stewart Black has published papers in international journals and co-edited 3 books. Ms. Sarah Stewart Black, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Ita Moa Muai A'omalo Mataiva Isaiah Robertson of New Plymouth for services to women, youth, and the Pacific community. Mataiva was the first woman to be elected General Secretary of the Samoan Synod, Sinoti Samoa, of the Methodist Church of New Zealand. She set up the Social Issues Committee and has led the delivery of family violence and suicide prevention training workshops. She is World General Secretary of the World Federation of Methodist and Uniting Church Women. She was National President of the New Zealand Methodist Women's Fellowship. Mataiva has worked towards establishing a National Samoan Women's Centre. She chairs the Vaimoana Pacifica Charitable Trust in Taranaki. She helped organize the Samoan Methodist Youth National Education Expo, has coordinated Pacifica youth programs, and is a member of trusts dispersing education scholarships. She has installed water supply systems and provided practical techniques for disaster mitigation in Samoa. Ita Moa Muai A'omalo Mataiva Isaiah Robertson, please come forward. Mr. Philip Trustom of Christchurch for services to art. Philip Trustom is a leading painter of large-scale impressionist works. He is represented in the collections of all major public galleries in New Zealand. He's exhibited in Sydney, Melbourne, Taiwan, and New York. He was the first New Zealand artist to be reviewed in the New York Times and the second New Zealand recipient of the Pollock-Krasner Foundation Scholarship. He has completed several public commissions, including Passport to the New Millennium for the Christchurch Convention Centre. He gifted 14 major paintings and a large drawing to the Christchurch Art Gallery Te Puna o Waifetu. He's donated paintings for fundraising to St Andrew's College and Christchurch Hagley Tennis Club. Mr. Trustom is an honorary patron of Friends of the Christchurch Art Gallery and the Oxford Art Gallery. Mr. Philip Trustom, please come forward.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr. Michael Holdsworth of Wellington, for services to Special Olympics. Michael Holdsworth has been a dedicated member of Special Olympics Wellington since the early 1980s when it formed, whether competing, mentoring, officiating, assisting with the running of an event, fundraising, or attending functions. He's represented Special Olympics Wellington in numerous tournaments. He's represented New Zealand in alpine skiing and swimming at international Special Olympic events, winning several medals. As a global messenger for the Special Olympics Athlete Leadership Programme, he represents Special Olympics New Zealand at various local and international events. Locally, Mr. Holdsworth has been involved with the Scout movement and has been a key leader at the Kandala Scout Group for more than 20 years. Mr. Michael Holdsworth, please come forward. Mrs. Sally Jackson of Waikanae for services to special education. Sally Jackson pioneered work on learning design for children with autism, including an assessment class at Nainai School in Wellington to determine the supports needed to enable children with additional learning needs to be included in classes with their peers. She was project manager for implementation of the Special Education 2000 policy, which aimed to create a fully inclusive education system in Aotearoa. She was inaugural Board of Trustees Deputy Chairperson at Upper Hutt College. She's led the Ministry of Education's engagement with the disability sector as Chief Advisor Learning Support. Mrs. Jackson initiated the development of the first signs program for deaf children to develop early language. Mrs. Sally Jackson, please come forward. Your Excellency, To receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mr. Ronald Luxton of Temuka for services to health and the community. Ronald Luxton is a retired pharmacist. He's a member of the Temuka Lions Club and has held numerous leadership positions with the Lions Clubs, including as the elected director on the International Board for New Zealand, Australia, Islands of the Pacific and Indonesia with Lions Clubs International. He was a long-standing member of the Temuka High School Board of Trustees, now Opihi College, including a term as chair. He's led successful efforts to fundraise for an MRI scanner in South Canterbury. Mr. Luxton is chair of the Aoraki MRI Charitable Trust and the South Canterbury District Health Board. Mr. Ronald Luxton, please come forward. Mrs. Yvonne Officer of Otatara for services to victim support. Yvonne Officer has volunteered with victim support in Invercargill for 25 years and continues to be on call day and night. She's attended many training days to better support victims of suicide and assault and has supported victims in court. She volunteers as a support worker for St John at Kew Hospital in the emergency department, where she's been the volunteer 2IC, second in charge, and in the children's ward, where she was team leader. Mrs. Officer has also delivered Meals on Wheels and fundraised for various other charities, particularly the Blind Foundation. Mrs. Yvonne Officer, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
Kia ora anō. Our honours system is New Zealand's highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces those things that make our society better: service, commitment, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of excellence. Recipients of these honours embody something else that's quintessential to Aotearoa New Zealand. That is our diversity, our differences, backgrounds, views, experiences and skills that ultimately bind us and strengthen us. To our recipients, it has been a privilege to hear of your stories. You have each used your talents and abilities to improve the lives of fellow New Zealanders. Your actions and the lives that you lead reflect the spirits and the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson. What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether it be a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. I urge you to wear your insignia with pride at every opportunity, knowing that your contributions are recognised and valued, and that you inspire others by your example. On behalf of the Queen of New Zealand and all New Zealanders, I congratulate you on your achievements, and I thank you again for your service to our country. Kia hui mai tātou I tēnei rā. Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude the formal part of today's ceremony, I invite you to stand and join with me in singing our national anthem in te reo and in English. You're a little bit quick, you lot. If you keep standing, you'll have to donate another painting. I'll ask you to join in te reo and in English. The words are on the back of your program. Kia ora.